Welcome to Mindset Matters, the show where we dive into all topics surrounding mindset, its importance, how it shapes our lives, the daily actions we take, and how it creates our future possibilities. Mindset Matters brings you stories and experiences from incredible people around the globe and provides the strategies to upgrade your mindset for success. Let's start designing your life from the inside out with your host, Rachel Withers.
Hi, and welcome to another Mindset Matters, where we are talking about mindset and the importance that it actually plays in our lives, whether that's in our daily lives, in our business lives, and really about the importance of mindset with the possibilities of your ideas and your dreams. And really, it's about developing and designing your own life from the inside out. So today we have an incredible show on Mindset Matters. I have an incredible guest with me. Our guest is Danny De Brabander, and Danny is the co-founder of TeamDDB, which is an organisation that raises funds for local charities in the Wirral, and he raises awareness about bowel cancer, specifically among younger people. This is a personal cause for Danny, as he was diagnosed with terminal stage 4 bowel cancer in January 2019 when he was 37 years old. His battle with bowel cancer has included a life-threatening fight with sepsis, major heart issues caused by chemotherapy, and 3 major surgeries. Now, today, despite being told 2.5 years ago that he had just months left to live, Danny's latest scans have shown no cancer visible, and which is Danny is a cancer survivor and is also a keynote speaker who shares his remarkable story of how he has really turned his adversity into something positive, and he continues to inspire others through his personal journey and his organisation that raises money and awareness for bowel cancer. So I'd like to welcome Danny to Mindset Matters. So thank you, Danny. Thank you for joining me today. Hi. So Danny, let's start with you telling us a little bit about your life prior to 2019 when you were diagnosed. What did you do for work? What hobbies did you do? What did you enjoy doing?
Yeah, so just my job is I'm a sales manager for a telecommunications company based in the northwest of England. I was in looking after a team of sales staff and obviously looking to grow the business. We do business to business sales, and it's a job that I still do to this day, albeit a bit more watered down now in terms of my responsibilities, because obviously I've had so much going on really. Outside of that, I'm a big football fan. Support Manchester United for my sins, which people will laugh at with the accent that I have as well. But yeah, and then outside of that, again, just love to travel. Love family time, spending time with family and friends, and yeah, that was me in a nutshell. And for a lot of it, you're just going about life every day, and no real thought for what could happen around the corner, really.
Yeah, so tell us about your diagnosis, if you don't mind talking about that.
Yeah, fine. So, I mean, I was diagnosed at 37, as you said, with stage 4 bowel cancer. I had actually been getting symptoms and having issues probably about 8 months prior. I was feeling very lethargic. I was getting an aching sensation in my stomach. I was going out running and doing exercise, and I just didn't feel right. And I went to see the doctor, and they said go for blood tests. Maybe it's being a man or being proud, or thinking that something serious wouldn't happen to me. I ignored it and carried on with my life. Had a few trips abroad. Again, didn't feel right, and then when I got back from those trips, I passed blood in my stool, which then led me to go back to the doctors. All of a sudden, the alarm bell started to ring. And yeah, I went to the doctors, followed through on the blood test, had a stool sample, it come back irregular, and then that led me to have a colonoscopy in January 2019, and during that colonoscopy it was discovered that I had a growth in my bowel, and then subsequent tests after that showed that the cancer had actually spread through to my liver, which was a huge shock, and my whole world fell apart at that point. Because obviously the prognosis and diagnosis of that sort of spread is not good at all. But yeah, and I always think to myself, if I hadn't have ignored the blood tests, and it's something that I'm passionate about now, where would I have been? Would I have been stage 2? Because if you're stage 2, you can be successfully treated in 90% of cases. So it's something that often plays on my mind, and it's why I'm so passionate now about telling people that if you don't feel right, go and get checked out, and don't be embarrassed. Just get checked out, because your health should come first.
Absolutely, and I think we can just put things to side, and if we should, our health is so very obviously so very important. Can you tell me, because we're going to talk about your charity, we're going to really talk about that. How did you, from the position of being diagnosed, getting that news, how did you turn this around so that today you've got the charity and you're doing the work that you're now doing? How do you go from some news like that, going through that, everything that you've experienced on your journey? And please tell us a little bit more about your story as well, since being diagnosed, and how you've come today to be doing this charity.
Yeah, so I mean, as I say, my world collapsed at that point when I got the diagnosis, and things didn't get much better for the subsequent months after that. I had chemotherapy, or my first cycle of chemotherapy, and I thought, great, I've got a plan. But what happened was I ended up being cardiotoxic, so the chemotherapy didn't agree with me, and I ended up in hospital, and I was close to having a major heart attack, which was just like, what you're getting your mindset right to ultimately take on the fight, and straight away you're hit with a hurdle, and I was faced with major heart issues. So then I was in hospital for about a week. I had to go through treatment for that, loads of tests around my heart, and then there was concerns about whether I could have chemotherapy or not. So then you think, oh, what are the options? So they said, we'll book you in for surgery. And then a month after that, it got even worse, whereby my bowel actually blocked with the growth, and I was having a stent fitted, which basically opens up your bowel. But the stent, a 2% chance this would happen, but the stent actually perforated my bowel, and I ended up contracting sepsis during the operation. And my family were told that I was unlikely to make the evening. My major organs were shutting down, and and I come round from that. I dropped down by about 5 stone. I went under 10 stone. I had to learn to walk again. In the hospital, I was getting delusions of grandeur as I was coming off all the medication and so on. So that was tough, and it was just from a mindset point of view, it was like, you've got cancer, but now you've had heart issues, you've got sepsis. I was worrying about what my heart was doing while I was having sepsis, and obviously recovering from that. And then, as I said, I had to learn to walk again. So it was just challenge after challenge, and then I started to build myself up, and I don't know, maybe it was in my head. I thought maybe I shouldn't be here after sepsis, and I was lucky from that point of view, and my mindset kind of changed from that point on. And from that, I was very strong-minded. Even though I was told at one point that the cancer had then spread to my stomach lining, that I had months left to live. In my head, my mindset was always strong and right, and I luckily was able to have some chemotherapy. And whilst that was all happening, I wanted to kind of have a legacy, because if it did go the wrong way, I wanted to leave a mark. So TeamDDB was born with friends of mine, and we started while I was having treatments, while I was in the hospital and sepsis. We started to raise money for the local community and give back, and that started off with a charity football match. Then it was a run, like a pretty muddy event in the park with my friends, and it just snowballed from then. And it just seemed to be when my mindset changed. Ultimately, it felt like my journey with cancer changed, and it's been on like an upward trajectory ever since, really, because the chemotherapy worked. I've had surgeries. They've removed cancers from my stomach, from my stomach lining, from my liver. I've had nearly 70% of my liver resected and removed. And even though I was going through such negative things, the positive was I always could see an end goal, that there was a chance that I could get to show no evident disease. And the TeamDDB element and the charity side was just uplifting me, and it was keeping me positive, and it was allowing me to give back. So yeah.
It's truly incredible, Danny, to have that strength of mindset, and clearly the charity has enabled you to have the direction and the purpose to keep you moving forwards with everything. Before we go a little bit more into the charity and really talk about the ways that you have raised money and all the work that you've done, please could you just share with the viewers, the listeners, really about some of the warning signs that young people should be aware of when it comes to bowel cancer?
Yeah, so it's like tiredness, feeling lethargic, like a heavy sensation in your bowel. There's blood in your stool, passing blood in the stool. There's stuff like in relation to what else would it be? They're the kind of the main three. But the scary thing with bowel cancer is sometimes you can actually go undetected as well. So you could just experience one of those symptoms and not all of them. But I just think sometimes in yourself when you get a feeling that something isn't right. Like I said before, I was out jogging and I could feel that I didn't feel right in myself, and realistically I should have followed through and went and seen the doctor. And as I say, if you experience anything along those lines, then definitely go and see the doctor or the GP and get checked out.
Yeah, so it's, as you say, you believe that if you don't feel right in yourself, don't ignore that feeling that you have that something isn't quite right. It's actually, in a way, listen to your body, listen to the messages that your body is giving you, and make sure that you go and seek medical advice.
Yeah, most definitely. And like I say, I often wonder where I would be. I mean, my mum had bowel cancer, but she caught it early and she had it removed. Albeit she went through a few complications, but she had it removed, and then she didn't have to have further treatment. The amount of people are, like, as I say, it has no, there's no age on who can actually get bowel cancer. I saw a young boy over in America, a boy called Jaden. He was 11 and he's just sadly passed away from having bowel cancer, or colon cancer as it's known in America. There's no age, and I've lost a lot of friends throughout the way of people who've had similar prognosis and diagnosis to me. And it's just so heartbreaking to see what happens, and sometimes just because you're embarrassed to go to speak to the doctor about certain things like poo or whatever you want to call it, stool, you need to just park that for one side, because your health comes first. And I say it's not even just bowel cancer, it's any type of illness. You need to put your health first.
Absolutely, and thank you for sharing the insight that you can offer. So let's really talk about, I think, the charity. Let's talk about TeamDDB, and it'd be just wonderful for you to share some of the work that you've done for the local charities.
Yeah, sure. So as I say, it started with a football match, and we supported the local cancer centre, Clatterbridge Cancer Centre, with that. We also supported a gym called UTS Gym, which offers a lot of physical support for people who are dealing with chemotherapy and cancer. So that was where it kind of started, and then so it was very cancer orientated to begin with, but it's just snowballed. So what happens with TeamDDB? We're basically a group of fundraisers, and yeah, it's all about the local community. So it's evolved. So we picked up on Marcus Rashford, who's a footballer in England. He was he wanted to obviously end child food poverty in this country. So again, we started to do stuff with our local food banks, raising money for them, and we raised nearly £6,000 last Christmas. So there's been things like that. During COVID, we were raising money for the critical care team at our local hospital, Arrow Park Hospital. That was by doing so many thousand steps during lockdown and so on when people were exercising. It was a nice one for me because they were the same team that helped save my life when I had sepsis. So what we did there is we raised again nearly £7,000 for them, and each member of the team got a voucher to the value of about £50-60, I think it was at the time. So yeah, so as you can see, it started off as a cancer charity, looking at the local cancer charities, and it's just evolved into community feel. Most recently, we do what we call random acts of kindness. So one of the things that I noticed was when I was going through all the tough times, the things that helped me going and kept me going was spending time with family and friends, going and doing nice days out, going to the football or going out for a nice meal or a day out, somewhere. So we identified that if someone's going through a tough time locally to us, we would pay for them to have a day out, them and their family. So I think we've done over 10 random acts of kindness now. Some include on Father's Day, we sent a Father's Day hamper to Ronald McDonald House. So that's for fathers who had just had or their babies had been born early. So we did that. We've done stuff with Sons Down charity, which is that looking after Down syndrome children. So we've sort of arranged for them to have a summer party. And then individually, we've had a boy called Joe. Again, he's got Down syndrome, but he's had sepsis and a lot of health issues. He's just literally gone to Alton Towers Water Park. So we're just doing stuff like that to give back. And where we generate the funds is just by, it initially started as family and friends, as I said, but now we've got strangers who are inspired by my story and want to help, who, they'll do stuff like marathons, they'll bake cakes, it could be anything. We do steps challenges, we do raffles at Christmas. You can literally do anything you want, and for any local charity if you're inspired by what we're doing, really.
Absolutely. Well, again, truly inspirational. And you talk about, we're talking about the random acts of kindness. It's the being able to do and feel and take yourself, I would imagine, in a position such as yourself and the individuals that you've supported, having some sense of normality brought back into their lives, being able to do a day trip, being able to just take them away from the circumstances that they're currently in must mean so much to themselves and the family. And I think it's truly inspirational for you to be really supporting individuals in that. And the charity that you do and the way that you're raising, enabling people to help get the message out, raise the funds through baking cakes, doing a small run, all of the things that we can all do to support the charity, I think is so inspirational as well. Really, it's just incredible. Could I just ask you, how do you, from people in positions such as yourself that have really felt, what would you say to them if they're feeling really very distressed with where they are, and they're in the battle, they're in that cancer battle themselves? How can you turn that that negative situation into a positive. What advice could you give someone that's faced with that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few kind of fundamentals that I follow and went by when I was. I mean, a lot of people look for like the magic solution, and I don't think there is one. I think in some ways you've got to, there is an element of luck involved, of course there is, but I also think your mindset is right. So for me, the TeamDDB element was turning my negative situation into a positive. I had kind of something, and I'm not to say that everyone should follow down that suit, but that worked for me. I think there's certain I've learned along the way, and different people who I've met have told me, snippets of inspiration themselves. Someone once told me, don't worry about what might happen, because 96% of what you worry about doesn't actually happen, which I thought was really, really good. So a lot of the time when you've got cancer, you worry about, well, what happens if this doesn't work or that. I think it's just trying to challenge your positivity to believe that it will work. And then if it, like as you saw from the start, I've had to take steps back sometimes in life to go forward. I had heart issues, I had to have sepsis, I had the spread to my stomach lining. I've had major surgeries, organs removed, so I've had a lot of negative. I've been to dark places, but sometimes you've got to go to those places to then move forward. And it can take 3 months, it can take a year, it could take 3 years, but you've always got to believe that no matter what what's impacting on you, you've got to believe there's hope, and you've got to believe that the end goal is going to be a positive one for you. The key things that I found that I did when I was diagnosed was I got involved in like a Facebook support group for people who had bowel cancer, and I learned a lot about my condition and what the options available to me were. I think a lot of people go into having cancer and they'll just listen to their oncologist, and it's not to say that they are experts, but they'll have one opinion. So it's important to get many opinions, understand what's available, and really challenge the experts to say, well, actually, I've seen this. What about this? And from my journey, that's something that I've learned, that I got referred from one cancer centre to another. The original cancer centre were reluctant to refer me because they believed oncology was the best way forward for me, where I was a believer that surgery was the best way forward for me. So I challenged them and got referred to the other centre. So to this day, I don't know where I would be if I hadn't have had surgery. And like you said, I'm at the point where I've got no evident disease, albeit it is early days. It could quite easily come back. I get scanned every 3 months, but I don't know where I would be if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have challenged it. So the thing I would often say, like people will come on and say, should I try cannabis oil? Should I try supplements? Should I starve my body of sugar, etc., etc.? And I don't think there's one particular magic formula. I just think positivity, your mindset has to be right. Learn what you've got, but also get out in the fresh air, and just have your time. I'm not saying I haven't been to dark places. I've planned my own funeral. I've worried when I've been out with family. They've been taking photographs of me, and I've been thinking, are they taking that as a memory? They're the sort of things that go on in your head, but you've just, as I say, without hope, you've got nothing, and that's what I keep coming back to. At the end of the day, you've just got to believe that you're going to be one of the lucky ones, and just keep moving forward. And you'll go through horrendous times. You go through challenges you never thought you would face, but you've always got to believe that you're going to get there. And if someone writes you off, like I've been written off twice now, once with sepsis and once with my once from my oncologist, and told I had months left to live, and you just got to. I just thought, I'll prove you wrong, and that's something else that drove me on.
A true strength of character there. I'll prove you wrong. Have you used any particular techniques to develop the strength of mindset that you have? Have you used any, or has it evolved naturally through the circumstances, the adversity that you've gone through?
Yeah, it's just evolved. Like I say, so I think when you face challenges, it does make you stronger. I know the sayings around that, but it genuinely does make you stronger. So I've kind of evolved from that. But like I say, one of the key things for me was even when I didn't feel like it, I would try and get out and walk and push myself. have my own time, have vitamin D, and have sun and fresh air, and surround myself with the natural environment, and just get my mindset right and have me time. And what something else I found was, obviously with my family and friends, if I go down and I go down the wrong path, they kind of follow with me, and they'll reflect me as being negative. So I found from an early stage, like, that was a real struggle to see the people around me struggle. So I have to be positive for them because they reflect that back to me. So that's something else that I thought was, I've got to be in control of that, and I've got to show them that I'm in control of the situation. Whilst, sometimes I'm not. I'm at the hands of medication or whatever. But the feel of control is a very strong feeling to have, and I felt that quite, after the sepsis situation. Like I say, it may well have been because I felt like maybe I shouldn't have been here after sepsis, and when I was on, extra time, if you like. But it's just strange, my mindset completely changed. And then the charity element it's just positivity all the time, doing good for others. It was just really, really, like I say, even from a personal point of view, it was just so uplifting, and it was my negative situation was having such a positive impact on everyone around me, and that my mindset just went along with that as well.
And I'm going to hit on the charity again, but I just want to mention you bring up family, and you bring up that you need the positivity there to help support your family. Has the charity and the channeling of your energy into the charity, has that actually helped the impact of your diagnosis with your family as well? Has it helped to really have all of you have a focus on something positive?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose my family, my partner Jane, sometimes she will look at it and she'll be like, you've got to give a bit more time to the family, because sometimes I do get a bit like TeamDDB is everything, and I'm spending a lot of my time doing that. But with the events we do, I try to make it an inclusive thing of my family and friends. So from that point of view, we've had a lot of good memories made along the way from the events. I've got an event on Sunday, a charity football game at Wirral for a local charity called Paul Lavelle Foundation, who do stuff with domestic violence with men. So it's something that's just I've picked up on. It's made my heart kind of borrow to it. So I wanted to support them, so we're putting on this event, but like my family will be a big part of the day. They will be helping me on the day, organise, sell t-shirts, raise the money. So from that point of view, it's definitely had a positive impact on everyone around me. But like I say, sometimes I think that my family sometimes may just think slow down and have a bit of time with us and that. But I think because I don't know what's going to happen in the future, and as I say, I'm scanned 3 months to 3 months. A lot of people around me will think that I'm in a rush. I'm always thinking. I'm trying to plan an event for December, a music festival locally, and it's all to go back to the community. But yeah, some people would say just slow down a touch. But when you don't know what the future holds, it does focus your mind a lot more. And it's something that I would go on to say in terms of previously, before I was diagnosed with cancer, I used to just float along a lot in life. Months could pass by, and you could look back and go, what did I achieve in those months? Now I would always recommend to someone in their personal life, in business, that you don't know what's around the corner, you don't know the minute. So be ambitious, be positive. Try, and if you go out and achieve what you want to achieve in life, don't just think it's going to come to you, because often it doesn't, and then all of a sudden something can happen and it can hit you like a train. So just please, just cherish life, and just be ambitious, and really, really excel in what you do, and be the best at what you do as well. Be the best version of yourself. I know sometimes I'm saying a few cliches, but it's so true. Be the best version of yourself that you can be. I would say that to anyone.
It's about living, isn't it? Living every day, making the most of every day, living in the moment, and most certainly being the best the best that you can be. And we think we've got all the time in the world. We think that things are going to just come to us, and as you say, I think we've all been guilty of floating along with no purpose. And what really is coming through is that the diagnosis where you are has given you such a purpose in life, such a direction of what you want to achieve, what you want to contribute. And it's really putting a legacy there, I feel, is the purpose that seems to be coming through as we have this conversation. Really, Danny, you seem to have such strength of purpose, and the wish to really deliver a legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing for me is, like, my mindset's changed slightly in that, you know, when my prognosis was so poor, it was about legacy, and it still is. But right now, I'm kind of hopeful that I'll be driving TeamDDB and that for a long time. It's hard because I was thinking about it last night. I'm still in that area of I can't think too far ahead. Like, I can't plan a year in advance or anything like that. So that's a frustration, because whilst I agree 100%, live in the moment, live for now, that goes without saying. Sometimes it's nice also to have plans and goals of the future, and that's one of the areas where I do struggle, because I literally do not know what the future holds. My chances of having stage 4 cancer, the chances of me living past 5 years are around 13-14%. And I'm 2.5 years down the road. So obviously, and I've known people as well who have had no evident disease, no evident cancer, and it's come back, and it's come back with a vengeance. So again, I've got to hope that I'm not one of those people. My mindset is telling me that I'm not going to be. But you never know, and that's the frustrating thing. I can't look too far in the future. But like I say, for anybody who hasn't got that hanging over them, yeah, live in the moment, be the best you can be, but also kind of plan and have an idea of where you're going in life and what you want to achieve, because it can change, at the drop of a hat, really.
I do agree with you. I believe in living in the moment, and when I say living in the moment, I say it as having the gratitude for every day that you have. But I am a firm believer in goal setting, in planning, and actually having a destination of where you want to, of what you want to achieve, and what you want to, what your purpose is, whatever your passion is, to really do that in life. So I'm in complete agreement with the goal setting, and the planning there, and really focusing on the future, and of whatever the dream, whatever the ambition is, whatever your circumstances are in life. We must have a purpose, and we must have a passion. So what would you say to someone that has a terminal cancer diagnosis? What would you say to them about how to find the strength to be positive, and not to give up? What would you say to them?
I just say there's so many hope stories out there, and that's what I clung on from an early stage. I was so keen to find other people that had a similar diagnosis to me, but were still here, 5-10 years later, who were showing no evident cancer. And I think that's it. And right now, people do look I get a lot of messages on social media because they look at me as one of those people with hope. And that's what I would always say is, to go back to it. And I've been through so much. 3 major surgeries, sepsis, heart issues, a lot of chemotherapy, but I'm still here. I'm still smiling. I'm and you just can't lose hope. And no matter how bad it gets, you've just got to, because I've said it before, but without hope, you've got nothing. So I would say to them, don't give up. but also look out there, find out, become as much of an expert about the condition you've got as possible, but also look out there for others who've gone through what you're, or similar to what you're going through, and really look at them and find like success stories, because again, if you believe, they help you believe that you can achieve what you want to achieve. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, you mentioned about finding the community. You joined a Facebook group. It is that hope. It is finding people in circumstances similar, and hearing the stories of hope, which really can drive you to have that hope for yourself. So
Yeah.
Incredible. Tell me just a little bit more about what motivates you to really continue fighting and spreading awareness through TeamDDB.
Yeah, I mean, motivations are my family and friends. That's obviously, I've got nieces and nephews, and I want to see them grow up. So that motivates me in itself. But then there's also the TeamDDB element. I want to keep giving back to the community. I want to keep doing well. I find it therapeutic. And yeah, we've most recently we're up to, in our fundraising total is, we're up to £60,000 raised in a few years. So, I wanna get to £100,000. It's just been an amazing, as bad as things have got, some amazing things have happened. Sometimes I do say, I would have preferred not to have cancer and just to be living as Danny De Brabander of old, but at the same time, amazing things have happened. I've been on the One Show, many different radio stations, podcasts. We've got so much well-known support from it, in the way of people like Sir Alex Ferguson, Stephen Graham, the actor. I could go on and on. Quan Matter, Gabby Logan. There's been so many people who have really kind of got on board with the story and of what we're doing, and supported it. So yeah, I mean, I just, as I say, it's got to a point now. I just want to grow it, and it's my next kind of questions are, and again, my health has to play a part in this, but it's kind of, where do we go from here? Do we carry it on as this nice little local thing that people are what I should say is, a lot of people who get involved with TeamDDB like the fact that it's not like a big corporate kind of charity machine, if you like. It's just a nice little local charity. People that come to the events always say they've got a nice feel to them, and I don't want to lose that. But then there's also the question of what are the next steps for TeamDDB? Do we make it a bit more official? How can we benefit the community? Do we go even further out than the local community? So there's all questions like that. But as I say, I get my scans out the way for next month, and then I'll start thinking about what's next in terms of that.
You are a true inspiration, and I'm sure whatever decision you decide to make in terms of TeamDDB, it will be absolutely the right one. Danny, just before we really close the show today, please just share with the viewers, with the listeners, where they can really find out more about you and really keep up with your story, and how they can support TeamDDB.
Oh yeah, so we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and it's at team.ddb. So it's Delta Bravo. Some people get confused that they're my initials. I'm on Facebook myself, Danny De Brabander, so you can look at that. We're on YouTube as well at TeamDDB. So there's a number of ways. We're pretty much, the strong one is pretty much our Instagram account is very well followed. So that's constantly updated, and like I say, yeah, Facebook. So come and give us a look. If you want to get involved, if you want to support us, you can raise money, you can donate, you can do anything really, or just come and follow the journeys. A lot of stuff around bowel cancer awareness, positivity, mindset. It's not just obviously just fundraising for the local community. We're trying to just be a real positive area for people to come and visit, and just for people to look at it and feel good and think, oh, you know what, that's really good. You know, I'm going to be a bit kinder in my life, or you know, I'm going to be more positive, or I'm going to learn and think, you know, my mindset, I want to be more ambitious. You know, whatever it is, however it can help, then I'm sure we will. And if you're going through something yourself in relation to cancer or a tough time, then by all means come and reach out, and I'll be happy to just have a conversation with you and offer you some support, because I know how much that meant to me when I was in my darkest time. So yeah, just come and have a chat. And yeah.
Thank you, Danny, ever so much for joining me today on
Mindset
Matters. It's been an absolute honour and an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting me on.
Thanks for tuning in to Mindset Matters. Be sure to visit rachelwithershq.co.uk to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content. Join us next time for more tips and techniques to achieve the rewards that you deserve. Bye for now.